Hi everyone, so welcome back. So I've just been out here today repotting. I've got a couple of big spruce trees you can see behind me there, and a big pine, or big-ish. They're not massive, but I've grown these from little seedlings the past few years, and I've just been and bought some nice new plant pots, some big deep ones. So I want to have a look at the roots and stuff on these and get them repotted. Only a real light repotting. I'm not going to disturb too many roots, so I'm just going to scrape down the soil a bit, get these repotted, see if we can find some nice root bases on them. So I'm going to bring them into the greenhouse one at a time, so stay tuned and we'll get cracking. Okay, so I've just tipped it out of this pot and I've just put it in this pot. I'm going to plant it in this pot as well, but I'm just putting it in there to contain all the soil. I'm just scratching away, trying to reveal the surface roots on the barry. You can see there. I don't want to disturb the roots too much, but I just want to expose some of these roots. And then I'm going to put it up quite a bit higher in this pot, so it's raised. So the roots are, when it rains, the roots appear more. So it's quite a big tree. Must be about 6-7 foot. I'm not going to prune it in a moment because it's just growing perfectly. So healthy. I'm kind of afraid to cut it, although I know I will need to at some point, but for now I'm just growing it as big as I can in pots. So like I said, I think the variety is some sort of spruce. I think it might be a Sitka spruce, because I found the seeds down the forestry track up the road. This is all that's planted up there. They grow them for wood or whatever. Anyway, I'll carry on, see if I can get a few more roots exposed, and I'll get this potted up in there. Okay, so I think I'm ready to get this repotted now, so I'm just going to leave the soil that I've scraped off underneath it, and I'm going to add some more of my compost that I've got in here. So there's all sorts in here. There's just all the spare bits of compost I have when I empty a pot or repot a tree into something smaller. I save it, so there's all sorts. It's got bits of sand mixed in there. It's mostly just normal compost, probably. There's definitely some chicken manure compost in there as well. I've got some oak trees just healed in there, just some seedlings, because I've got to send them off to someone. And there's another new purchase. I picked that up the other day. Really cheap little, they sell them as little Christmas trees. So we'll have a look at that at some point. Anyway, I'll carry on with this one, get it potted up. Like I said, I'm going to try and raise it up higher in this pot. So I want it to sit quite high up so that the roots will be exposed and they'll wash down that way. Okay, so I'm just going to mount the compost in there, and then I'm going to wiggle the tree down into the pot. Hopefully it'll be high enough. It's quite awkward doing this in here because the tree's actually scraping along the top of the greenhouse. But it's still cold outside. It's more comfortable in the greenhouse. I do need to raise it up a bit at some point, the greenhouse that is. So that's that in there. That looks like a nice height for me to plant that. See the roots there. It's not too bad. I think I've repotted these at some point. Obviously I have, because they were seedlings. So they've had multiple repots. So that's about the right angle. So I'm going to fill in with compost all around the edge. I'm not going to disturb these roots anymore. I'm just going to fill it in and give it a good old press in. And that's all I'm going to do with this one for now. Okay, so I'll just keep piling it up into the middle and then just gradually pushing it around the edges. And the idea is that it's planted quite a lot higher on a little mound. That way the roots will kind of follow the soil and create like a spreading root system, hopefully. So I'm pressing it in quite firmly, but not too firm. I'm not forcing it down. But I know if I leave it too loose, the rain will wash it through anyway. But the cats will be straight in there digging it all out if I leave it really loose, like if I just left it like that. So that's about this one done. I'll move on and go get the other one. I've got two of these. This is the tallest one. Okay, so there's that one repotted. I've got that one to do. That pot's getting a bit small for it, and I want to have a look at the roots a bit. I'm not going to disturb too much. So that's that one completed. That's all I'm doing today. Just wanted to get it in another pot, settled in over winter. I've managed to expose some roots there. So I'm just going to keep letting that grow, thickening up the trunk. We'll take this one into the greenhouse and have a look. Okay, so I've got this one into the greenhouse. It's not quite as tall as the other one, so at least it's not hitting the roof. It's probably about 4.5, 5 foot, whereas the other one was about 6 foot. They're the same age, but this one's kind of growing a bit more short and stocky, which as far as I'm concerned is perfectly fine with me. So, as I said, these are grown from seed or seedlings that are collected locally. So I think these are Sitka spruce. I'm not 100% sure. They're grown for wood around here. So anyway, I'm going to get this out of the pot. That's the easiest way to do it that I found. Just hit the edges. So you see there's some lovely roots. I don't want to disturb too much down here. Look at all the nice mycelium and stuff in there. So I'll get rid of the weeds, scrape off as much of this top stuff. You see there's not much roots in the top anyway. And see if we can find any more root under here. So again, I'm going to put it in a plant pot just to contain the mess, and I'm going to reuse the soil that I scrape off the top. So I'll get that in the plant pot and make a start. Alright, so it's in the plant pot now. I'm just going to get rid of some of these roots, some of these weeds, sorry. Whatever I can pull out. Doesn't matter too much, they'll probably just end up in the bottom of the pot anyway. And they'll break down and feed the plant. So what I'll do now is start scraping away, see if I can find any more roots under here. Try and get these weeds out if I can. There we go, there's one. So I'll get the rest done and scrape down a bit more and see what we've got in here. Alright, so I'm just scraping away, chipping away at this soil. It's a good place to find seedlings. in the bottom of your plant pots. Like there's all sorts of little, you'd be surprised what comes up. I've collected hawthorns. That looks like a little maple or something. If you can save them, or if you just don't disturb them too much. If you see something, just leave it. I found oaks and hawthorns and all sorts popping up in plant pots, so, and the field maple popped up in the plant pot. So I don't really in too much of a rush to pull out all the weeds. Some of them may be little trees. So I'm still chipping away, haven't come across any thick roots yet, so I'm trying not to damage any roots, but most of them are down the bottom anyway, so we can dig away at the top a little bit. It won't hurt the tree at all. Okay, so I'm just coming across some roots now, but they're all on this side at the front, or say the front. They're all this side of the tree. There is one there as well, but there's nothing at this back bit, as far as I've dug down anyway, so that's about it. All I'm going to do, I won't dig up any more roots, I'll just leave it like that, plant it higher up and leave it for another year or so. See how much thicker we can get this trunk. It's getting there. I've got lots of branches down here which I can use for the future bonsai. But for now I'm just letting it grow away. Must be about four and a half foot tall. So again, I'm going to take it out, put some more compost in the bottom and wiggle it down until I think it's about the right height, and we'll fill in around the edges. Okay, so again, I've just mounded it up in the middle of the pot, and I'm going to pop the tree on top. Try and put it at a nice angle. I'm not too worried at the moment, but I think that should do. Obviously I don't want to put it at too much of a dodgy angle, because it'll look funny planted in the normal plant pot at the moment. So I'm just going to fill in, I'll just keep mounding it on here and it'll fall down the sides. Trying to keep the position the same. So I'll get the rest of that done and I'll get back to you. Okay, so there's them two spruce repotted. So that should do them for another couple of years. And hopefully they'll thicken up nicely next year. That's the one we just done. Left the roots exposed a bit there. And just trying to get a head start on training it for bonsai. Like I said, I haven't pruned them yet. And I've also got this pine here. Not sure what type. Whether it's a Scots pine or lodgepole pine. There's a few different ones which kind of look similar, so that's the next on the list of repotting. Like I said, I'm not going to disturb much. I'm just going to gently scrape away, see if I can plant it up a bit higher and expose some roots and get it in one of these new flatter plant pots. I found them in the garden centre, they're quite good. A little bit expensive, about £3 something each. But they're nice and shallow, not shallow, but they're more wider. So they're ideal. let the roots spread out. So we'll take that one in now and have a look. Okay, so there's the pine in the greenhouse. Now I know I've definitely repotted this at least twice, once not too long ago, in the summer I think. Just a general, basically a slip pot, just not disturbing anything. You can do that whenever you want. So that's the task now. Get out of the pot, have a look at the roots, and get it into one of these big flatter round pots. I've got rid of most of the weeds, so I'm just going to take it out of this pot now. So the roots haven't filled this pot fully yet, but I'm not going to disturb the bottom ones anyway. But you can see there is plenty of root there. So again, I'll put it in a pot and we'll scrape away. I can already see root there, so that's a good sign. And so normally when I've repotted it when it's a seedling, I would have attempted to sort the roots out a little bit when I've repotted it, just in general. But these are basically raw material, so we'll see what's down under here. So the more I rake away on this pine, the more interesting this tree is starting to look to me. It's got lovely roots spreading out quite evenly all around. It's really quite thick at the bottom there. Good inch and a half across, maybe even 2 right down here. So I've just raked away and just left a mound in the middle where the roots are exposed. I'll just lift it up and let all that go into the bottom of the pot. And then I'll top it up a bit more with some fresh stuff. Well, not fresh, but from my mixture over there. Compost and manure and all sorts. And then we'll get it repotted. Okay, so I'm going to put it up quite a lot higher. So what that is. There's a little plant there, I'm not sure what it is, but probably a weed. And then all I'm going to do is fill in around the edges. So I'll get back to you once that's done. Okay, so that's all potted, ready to go back outside. So you can't really see the roots, it's all covered in mud, but there is some nice thick roots there. A couple around the other side, quite evenly spaced, so that's good. So pop that back outside. Okay, so that's them 3 repotted. So I'll keep you updated on these. So I haven't really done any bonsai training on them yet as such. Cut out a few bits from this one. But other than that, these are just growing on to get bigger. So, hope you found that interesting or useful. That's how I repot my trees. As I say, everyone kind of does it their own way, but as you can see, most of my trees survive, so hopefully doing something right. So I'm gonna carry on pottering around, doing little bits and bobs. But all the trees are settled in for the winter now, more or less. I've got another one of them pots there, so something else might need repotting soon. But anyway guys, I will see you on the next one.